there's still probable cause to believe that evidence will be found on Otis McKane's phone.
We would still object, Your Honor, that first of all, he said we need to have motions. We have a motion to suppress, challenging any search, and that placed the state on notice. We had pretrial hearings where we asked, okay, what are you going to admit pursuant to a search warrant? And so they've been on notice since before the trial. We do have motions to suppress any searches, and they failed to produce the search warrant that is being referred to in there regarding the pain. Now, regardless of what Mr. Del Prado said right now, at the time, Mr. McKane was not under arrest. You know, this idea that when he's arrested, he was not under arrest, and so it's an illegal search from the very beginning, from the get-go. And so, for the reasons I stated before, in addition, we still object, including the fact that so many, in this fact scenario, so many electronic devices were obtained that the description that is given is insufficient, Your Honor. So those are objections.
Your Honor, the statute was he was a fugitive from justice. We don't have to show he was under arrest. We showed he was a fugitive from justice. The other thing is, Judge, we have been unable to find any motions where they're contesting searches other than they wanted to suppress any statements a defendant made. We have been unable to find any motions where you're alleging that there were illegal searches.
No, we have a motion to suppress. I guarantee you we have a motion.
Okay, so the ping, going back to the ping issue, the ping just basically helped the cops find him, right? That's all that.
Here's what we don't know, is we don't know. Okay, now what we don't know about is whether or not the ping was, if there was a ping, but if it was on the defendant's phone or if it was on Christian Field's phone, because they were together and the information was that they weren't together. The other thing, hold on one second. The other thing that I want to bring to the court's attention is that I have search warrants by Detective Duke on every single cell phone device, including the two that were taken from the defendant's home. Okay, and a Christian Field's phone, so I can present those to the court as well. But it's not, when they're saying we don't know which phone was searched or which, we do know the phone, we know the number, we have search warrants for every phone that was searched, and we can provide those to the court.
Okay, first, just to get a point aside, this 1802.15 does not apply, Judge. This is when the person is still a fugitive. It states this is a search for the telephone or wireless communications. This is when they conduct a search of what's going on with the phone without having the phone. This is while the person is a fugitive and is in possession of the phone. So they're doing a search without having the device.
But the searches
This
were
is what they're talking about in that statute.
But the searches were done to the contents of the phone based on search warrants.
And we're saying the search warrant is defective. It doesn't identify the item to be searched sufficiently, and it's based on probable cause that may not exist.
They have warrants presumed valid. If they want to show otherwise, they got to prove it, and they haven't done it. I don't know how else to say that.
Well, the fact that they can't, we're saying, give us the warrant. Give us a search warrant that's referred to in there, and then we'll examine it and see what happens. The burden's on the state.
Judge, just to remind the court, a ping is not for a search of a phone. It's to locate a suspect. Then they get a search warrant to go into the phone.
Right. And that's what I was asking about. That's the ping
Yeah,
issue.
that's what I'm looking for.
But y'all
There's an
have-
exigency provision.
But so that's the warrant that's lacking, is the ping, not the actual one that gives them the opportunity to get the contents, right? That's a different
That's
one.
how they get to it. I mean, they have to know which phone to ping.
I think
And then they start pinging that
the
phone.
ping simply served, it really didn't go to the probable cause for the offense.
Location,
It simply served to locate the defendant. It's really almost immaterial to the, whether or not he committed capital murder.
An arrest warrant was already in existence.
Was the phone seized when he was arrested?
Yes, sir.
That's what we,
So he was arrested, the phone was seized, and then the warrant came in for the search of the phone.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of how that happened.
I believe so, Your Honor. However, multiple devices were obtained. And as Mr. Fuchs says, the description therein is insufficiently narrow.
Right.
It's like saying, go search a red brick house.
Because it doesn't identify the phone, right? It just
Correct,
says
Your Honor.
LC cell phone, gray and black in color, found in defendant's possession. Okay, so we're ready to proceed?
We're ready.
Are you going to make those, are we ready to proceed, or do we need?
Well, we've already made our objections, Your Honor, and I guess the court can rule.
Okay.
We are saying again that the board mentions to the magistrate that there's another search warrant that apparently identifies the phone. And that magistrate may have, I'm sure, relied on that information. And then it's this warrant that they have, the description is insufficient on the item to be searched. And I think my objections are already on the record, right? We were on the record, and so we'll just stand by our motions. And again, we do have a motion to suppress. We had pretrial hearings, and the state never has, to this date, not produced that said so-called search warrant. We're objecting pursuant to the food of poisonous tree law.
And I just want to make it clear too, Your Honor, that we had, the court had a motion setting, and the defense, the only motions we heard were the motions to suppress the defendant's statements. The defense didn't bring up at that time or until during the trial specific motions to suppress that they are now attempting to have heard, which is fine, but it's not something that, it's their choice when they want to bring up the motion to suppress.
A motion to express evidence on constitutional grounds can be brought up at any time during the
Absolutely.
trial.
Right, absolutely, but I mean,
And I don't know what the complaint is.
okay.
Anything else? Anything else for the record? So I guess I'm taking up the defense objection as to the search. It's a motion to suppress, right, based on the search of the contents of the defendant's phone. That's what I'm taking up now.
Yes, Your Honor, with all the objections that I stated before, and that for those reasons, then this phone in particular, on the description also, it makes it not relevant, Your Honor. And if it is relevant, the probative value is outweighed by its unfair prejudice to the defendant and also its confusion of the issues, Your Honor.
All right, so I can't make a 403 ruling unless I see the content that the state is seeking to introduce as it relates to, well, the other arguments, overrule the motion to suppress. So I guess to take the 403, I kind of need to know what y'all are doing.
sure, Your Honor, and the detective's here to continue his testimony.
I'll reserve the 403 until I hear the detective's testimony.
Detective Dustin Knox.
You've already been sworn. All right. You just want to approach the mic. State.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm going to hand him a mouse so he can go through, for the purposes of this hearing, go through the extraction report that we're going to be showing the court. So, Your Honor, this time the state's publishing and going through, for the record, State's Exhibit 375, which is the DVD containing the tag portions of the defendant's cell phone. There is a full extraction report, which the state moved to admit and the court admitted yesterday, State's Exhibit 374. And the tag portions are from the full extraction report. So for purposes of the 403 hearing, the contents of what we're going through today is what we would like to have you view, make the determination of the 403 balancing, and then that's what we plan to show the jury. Also, for purposes of this hearing, the state moves to introduce State's Exhibits 371, 372, 373, and 376. Judge, do you have 372?
I do.
Okay, I just want to show you that. Thank you. Yes, on that test, it's just. Here it comes.
Wait, are you offering this for purposes of the hearing?
I am.
For purposes of the hearing, no objections.
All right, they're admitted for that purpose. technology issues?
It's such a, the disk has so much information on it, so it's taking a significant amount of time to load with the cell-right reader, so we're,
I got you.
yeah. That's maybe what the step down here.
You want to set them?
Sure.
We're very fortunate. Yeah. You know, a lot of folks don't understand the part of the process. Right. They think it's all like TV, they have things in the news. Get everything done in 1 hour. Yeah. They'll recognize all the different things that go into this process. When you talk to them, they're just very appreciative appreciative. Not anything else, you know. Definitely saying exactly.
For purposes of this hearing, let's see how he
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, will you please state your name for the record?
My name is Detective Justin Knox.
Okay, and Detective Knox, are you the same Detective Justin Knox that was testified in this courtroom yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
So we stopped in the middle of your testimony at the end of the day, and so we're going to pick back up where we left off, testifying about the images that were tagged pertaining to the identification of the owner of this phone. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so can you, using the mouse in front of you, can you please go to the analyze data and then the media and the images? So specifically pertaining to the images for identification. There are, if you could explain to the court what the various identification images are. I know yesterday we went through the defendants, or you showed the court the defendants' photos that were taken from that phone that were referring to of his Texas driver's license. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then there are other images that, and you gave us the date, I think it was June of 2016 when the pictures were taken of his driver's license, June 17th of 2016.
Yes.
And then are there other documents that are also photographed which have the defendant's name on it?
Yes.
And what are those documents?
Looks like an insurance card, Safeco document listing the vehicles, the Mitsubishi Galant, their names, their address.
And the Mitsubishi Galant, you said their names, it has the name of Sandra McKane and Otis McKane, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then it has 2 vehicles listed?
Yes.
Okay. And what are the vehicles that are listed?
One looks like a Nissan Versa, I believe, and the other one's a Mitsubishi Galant.
And the Mitsubishi Galant, are you able to read the VIN number, the vehicle identification number that's listed on that document into the record?
Yes. It's 4A32B2FF1BE023218.
And we would ask the court to take judicial notice based on the evidence that's previously presented that that is the same VIN number from the Mitsubishi Galant that the court heard testimony that that car is registered to this defendant. And specifically, if I can approach the State's Exhibit 153, which is the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles packet, registration packet, certificate of title on that vehicle, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll take judicial notice of that.
Okay. And what other identifying images did you have pertaining to the owner of this phone? And real quick, the insurance card that we just looked at, the photograph of that, what was the date that was photographed?
It was photographed on 6/17/2016.
And Detective Knox, are there other identifying documents that you tagged?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a buyer's tag receipt
And
for
whose
that.
name?
Sorry, for that same Mitsubishi, same VIN number, and then you can see over here in the corner for owner one name is Otis McKane.
And the same VIN number on the 2011 Mitsubishi Galant?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was that photograph taken?
6/17/2016.
So going to another identifying image?
It would be his driver's license.
Okay. And we went through that yesterday.
Correct. This is that insurance card again.
So there's multiple copies of, obviously, the defendant's driver's license and the insurance card
Correct.
that you testified to? Okay.
Another buyer's tag. And then And there's just various pictures. Let me go.
And the pictures that are on the phone, like specifically we're looking at one that appears to be a selfie type picture or a picture of whom?
Correct.
And who is shown in the picture?
Otis McKane.
Okay, and what's the date of this picture?
4/24/2016.
And this is the same Otis McKane that you've identified as the defendant in court yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
And can we continue to scroll through the pictures? We don't, okay. Can you scroll down?
Oh, okay. Here, there's more pictures, more driver's license. And this is a picture, identification card of, I'm not sure who that is.
It says last name Fields, is that correct? Can you see that?
Yes, but it's pretty blurry.
Carrington, something Fields, okay.
Then just those are the pictures that I've tagged.
And this last one we're looking at has a picture of whom? Who's shown in that picture?
Otis McKane,
And the date of the picture that it was taken?
10/17/2016.
Now going to the, so the court has had the opportunity to look at all of the identifying information or identifying images that you've tagged, is that correct?
There are some others. There's some emails. I did tag one email. I'll just go to that real quick. It came from an account, Otis McKane 001@gmail.com, and the subject line says, "Hey Selena, this is Otis. Can't wait to meet you."
And that was sent when?
6/10/2016
At 8:57
p.m.
p.m. Okay. Now, were there also other images on this cell phone?
Yes.
Can we look at those?
Okay,
So
so
let's start at the far left.
that is a SAPD badge with a black stripe on it.
And are you able to see when that picture was, or the image was either viewed or downloaded?
No, I'm not.
Okay, and why is that?
It's because it came from the Chrome web app and it's in the cache, so it doesn't save that information.
Oh, because of the method in which he looked it up, or the app that was used, or?
Yes.
Can we look at the second image? And what is this image?
It is a news headline from ksat.com.
And is there, in this news headline, is there anything that references a San Antonio police officer or a gunman?
Yes, it says gunman who shot at SAPD headquarters sought.
And what is the date of the, that this was accessed, date and time?
This was at 11/20/2016 at 4:06 p.m.
The same day that Detective Marconi was killed?
Yes.
So can we look at the next one, please?
There's a picture of a San Antonio police SUV, police car.
And do we know when this one was accessed?
No, we don't.
Okay, and is that the same reason that it was accessed using
Correct.
cache? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Well, cache is a storage place for data that gets accessed. But yes, it did come from the website,
Chrome.
Chromium. Okay.
And so when an individual uses Chrome to access information, does that not leave an imprint on the phone or leave a date and time?
It does.
It does?
As far as the date and time, no, but it will leave the image that they viewed or whatever on the website. It'll save it in the cache in case they go back there later. It's easier accessed.
Okay, but it doesn't give the date or time?
No, sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Okay, and let's look at the fourth one.
It's a picture of what looks to be a Glock from a wiki page on how to dismantle a Glock.
And again, was that accessed through Chrome?
Yes.
Okay, and so there would be no date or time on that?
No,
Is
ma'am.
that correct, or when it was accessed? And again, the fifth one now?
Is another picture of what looks like, it's a small picture, the slide of a clock as it's been taken apart.
And the sixth picture, please?
It's a picture of a clock.
And again, on the last two, they were accessed through Chrome, is that correct?
Yes,
And so there would be no date or time on this?
correct.
And then the seventh picture?
It's another picture of a clock. And then this was a picture of Detective Benjamin Marconi.
And then it has his picture, his name, his badge number, and it has end of watch, November 20th, 2016, 20 years of service.
Yes, ma'am.
And are we able, by looking at this, to determine when that was captured?
It does have some metadata attached to it, and it's saying 11/20/2016,
And what is the time, please?
4:32 p.m.
Can we look at the eighth picture?
Is another picture of a clock.
And is there any information about when that was accessed?
No.
And was it accessed through Chrome?
Yes, ma'am.
So same explanation.
Yes.
Okay, the ninth picture, please.
It's another picture of a clock.
And access through Chrome.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the 10th picture.
Another picture of a clock.
And any metadata on that picture?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and it was accessed through Chrome.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 11th picture.
Another picture of a clock.
Again, accessed through Chrome.
Yes, ma'am.
12th picture. So it's fair to say anything accessed through Chrome does not have a date or a time of when it was accessed,
Generally, yes.
generally. Okay. So this is the 12th picture,
Yes, another picture of a clock.
accessed through Chrome.
Yes, ma'am.
13th picture,
And this is a picture of someone dismantling. That looks like the slide of a clock. Accessed by Chrome. No date and time.
14th picture, please.
Picture of someone dismantling a clock from Chrome with no date and time. And there's another picture of a Glock where the person in the picture is removing the slide from the Glock from Chrome, no date and time.
The 16th picture,
It's a picture of a dismantled gun from Chrome, no date and time.
17th picture,
This is a picture of two, I believe, tweets or Facebook posts from was our former mayor and Ray Sedania. One says, an SAPD officer lost his life in the line of duty this afternoon. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family during this difficult time. And the other part of the picture says, my deepest condolences to family of officer killed today and all SATX police. This type of crime cannot and will not be tolerated.
so that was the 17th picture, and are you able to, is there any metadata on that photo, that image?
Yes.
And what is that, please?
Capture time was 11/20/2016.
Okay, 11/20/2016.
Yes, at 12:48 p.m.
So, an hour and 10 minutes after Detective Marconi was shot and killed.
Correct.
Right. The 18th picture. Is that the same? Is that
Same,
wrong?
same picture.
Okay.
It looks the same. Just it's stored twice on the phone.
And can we see if the metadata is the same for both 17 and 18?
Yes. So 17 was taken with a Samsung SMG935T. Capture time 11/20/2016 at 12:48:44. And it is the same metadata.
Okay. The 19th picture.
It's another picture of a Glock.
Any metadata on that picture?
No, ma'am.
And was it accessed through Chrome?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The 20th picture.
Looks like a person with a Glock in a firing range.
Accessed through Chrome.
Yes.
The 21st picture.
Looks like a gentleman at a gun store holding a pistol.
Access through Chrome.
Yes, ma'am, with no date and time.
The 22nd picture.
Say another picture of a gun, appears to be a Glock. Same chrome, no date and time.
The 23rd picture.
It's a very small picture, but it looks it's a man holding a gun on a firing range. And oops.
The 24th picture.
It's a picture of a Glock.
On Chrome.
Chrome with no dates and times.
25th picture.
Another picture of a Glock with from Chrome, no date and time.
26th picture.
Picture of a man holding a gun from Chrome, no date and time.
27th picture.
This is a dismantled firearm from Chrome, no date and time.
28th picture.
It's a slide from a firearm from Chrome, no date and time.
29th picture.
It's a picture of a Glock with some tools nearby from Chrome with no date and time.
30th picture.
It is a graphic of somebody pulling the slide back on a Glock and partially to dismantle it.
31st picture.
Looks to be a piece of a Glock.
And again, these last several have been on Chrome.
Correct.
Okay. 32nd.
Another picture of a Glock from Chrome with no date and time.
33rd picture.
It's a picture of a Glock with the text Glock cleaning and lubrication.
On Chrome again.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 34th picture.
It is a picture of somebody loading a magazine for a Glock.
35th picture. Was that one on Chrome as well? If you can just let us know Chrome or...
Yes, sorry. Chrome, no date and time.
This 35th picture.
Is a picture of the trigger of a Glock. It's from Chrome, no date and time.
36th picture.
A picture of two Glocks from Chrome, no date and time.
37th picture.
A picture of a man holding a Glock from Chrome, no date and time.
38th picture.
It's a picture of, it still appears to be a Glock, Chrome, no date and time.
39th picture.
It looks to be pictures of gun parts, firearm parts from Chrome, no date and time.
40th picture.
It's another picture of someone holding a Glock from Chrome, no date and time.
41st picture.
It's another picture of a Glock from Chrome, no date and time.
42nd picture.
It's a picture of a man holding a gun with another standing behind him, and it's from Chrome with no date and time.
43rd picture.
It's a picture of Public Safety Headquarters with crime scene tape.
And what is this, if you can zoom in, can you tell us when this picture was taken?
This picture was taken the day of Benjamin Marconi's death.
You can see the his patrol car, is that correct?
Correct.
And then the vehicle of Ricky Martinez
Yes.
that he pulled over? Okay.
Yes.
And looking at this, can you tell us about the metadata from this image?
It says it was taken with a Samsung SM-G935T, and it was taken on 11/20/2016 at 11:53 a.m.
And the next image?
Same picture.
Okay, and same metadata, is that correct? So it's just on there twice. Okay, so let me see what, if you can go back so I can get the number.
Oh, sorry.
If you can go back to the other screen, I'm sorry. The one that has all the images.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I think we were at, so this was 43rd and 44th, does that sound right?
Yes.
Of the two with police headquarters showing Detective Marconi's car
Yes.
and Ricky Martinez's vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then now let's look at the 45th picture.
It's just one more picture of public safety headquarters.
Okay, at the time of Detective Marconi's death.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's the same metadata, is that correct?
Yes, it is the same metadata.
Okay. And now the 46th picture.
It looks like a Facebook post showing Otis McKane in one picture and then the Mitsubishi Galant in another picture. And it says suspect involved in the murder of SAPD Officer Today, please share.
And do we know who sent that? Or
Jose
it says at the top.
Amaro shared Veronica Amaro's Montoya's post.
And what is the metadata for that image, which is image number 46?
The metadata just has the resolution, but the photos details say that it was created on 11/20/2016 at 7:52 p.m.
Okay, and does it indicate when it was accessed?
At the same time, 11/20/2016 at 7:52.
PM?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then finally the 47th picture or image?
Here's a picture of the black Galant driving through the south parking lot of Public Safety Headquarters.
And is there metadata associated with this photo?
Just its capture time, 11/20/2016 at 1:50 p.m.
And so we've gone through the images that were tagged for identification. Now a separate group of images pertaining to Detective Marconi's death and to Glock or firearms.
Yes.
Is there other information that was tagged on this phone too?
I tagged just different chats, text messages sent back and forth.
Okay. And so if we can look at, it appears that there are 3 that you tagged.
There are 3 groups of text between people. So this one only has 1 text, this one has 18 text, and this one has 5 texts.
Okay. So we can start at the top. The 1 text, it says owner Simone.
No, it's a text from the owner to Simone.
Okay, and so the owner would be who does that reference?
It was sent from the phone.
Okay.
So somebody used this phone to send this text.
Okay, and the phone is the same number you testified about yesterday that has the identifying information of Otis McKane?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so what did Mr. McKane send on this message to Simone?
The message was sent a telephone number and it says, Christian is my fiance, call and keep in touch.
Okay, and what time was that sent?
11/20/2016 at 8:05 p.m.
Okay. And the next group of texts, please.
Oops. So this is 18 messages, starting at 11/13/2016. And the blue text are received.
And the number that is listed on these text messages, the 346-900-3385, is that the same number that we just read that the defendant had sent to Simone saying, that number, Christian, my fiance?
Yes.
So it appears from the previous text that the defendant is saying, this is Christian, his fiance's telephone number.
Correct.
Okay. And so if we can scroll down to, it says, if you can kind of read the text for us.
Okay, so that he received a text saying, I got something for you, and then another text that says, with. Then he sent a text out that said, wake up, phone me. And then he received the text that says, what's up, daddy? He sent a text out that said, where you at? Then received a text that said, made some hamburger helper, you can have some.
And so these are, the last 2 you read were 11/18/2016?
Correct.
Okay. And then the very first one had a November 13, 2016?
Yes. It's a text that started on 11/13.
And then now the next one is 11/19?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that?
It is a picture.
That was sent to him?
Yes. think it opened up on the other screen. Did it open up on? Okay.
Okay. And then that's on 11/19/2016 at 9:55 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, and then another one he received from the number identified as Christian, my fiance.
Yes.
And what does that say?
And then it says, if you wasn't come, you could have just let me know. And that was on 11/19 at 12:56 p.m. Then on 11/19 at 3:35 p.m., the response says, my fault, but I'm going to take you somewhere when you get off. And then at same day at 3:34, it says, what time you get off? Then another response, text as soon as you get off so I can get you. That was on 11/19 at 5:50 p.m. And then, sorry, I had to drop off my sister. I tried to call you, but phone was off. It's 11/19/2016 at 9:04 p.m. Then he received a response, says, you all right? This was on 11/20/2016 at 12:59 p.m.
Okay.
And then one more text. I got 2 more movies from the Red Box for us. This was 11/20/2016 at 2:27 p.m.
Okay, and that's from all of these that you've just read are from that number 346-900-3385, which is the number of reference in the previous text where the defendant says Christian, my fiance.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So let's go to the third groupings of text that you've had.
This is a text. This is 5 texts from the owner of the phone to George. And first text was sent out 11/11/2016 at 11:59 p.m. It says, you still at the booth? Then a response delivered on 11/12/2016 at 12:23. It says, on to West, dropping sap off. Then a response, till what time? It was sent at 11:16 at 6:47 p.m. And then again 11:16 at 6:55 p.m. It says, when y'all get on the booth. And then the last text at 11/20/2016 at 7:52 p.m. A picture was sent from George to the owner of this phone, and that was the picture that was sent.
Okay, and that's the image that's on his phone that we looked at under images, or appears to be the same one.
Yes.
And were there also instant messages that you tagged?
That doesn't have any details on it. It just says that it was read at 11/20/2016 at 7:52 p.m.
Okay, and that's from George, is that correct? The same?
Yes, it might be the same text.
And the number that was sent from George, does this correspond to the image we just looked at? From the
Yes.
text
Yeah,
message?
there's the attachment. It's just listed in 2 different places.
Right, both as an IM and as a text?
Yes.
Okay. And then are there web searches that you tagged?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we look at those, please? So if you can kind of go through these quickly for the judge to see.
Okay, at 11/12/2016, there are multiple entries for how do you take apart a Glock 40. And that starts from 8:41:43 down to 8:41:28. Actually, I think it's backwards. I think this is the most recent one. So this is the earliest text. It started at 8:41:28 and went to 8:41:43.
Okay. And then are there some text messages in September of 2016, September?
There are
13th?
searches.
Searches, I'm sorry.
Yes. And there's searches for the Round Rock Sports Center, and then there's a search for Round Rock Sports Center gun show.
And then on 9/6/2016, are there searches regarding rent-a-tire?
Yes, for rent-a-tire, and then the address of it, and then the location of it. All around the same time on 9/6/2016, 5:53 p.m.
And is there any other information that you tagged?
So on web history, on 11/20/2016, it shows the websites he visited. Officer shot and killed outside of SAPD headquarters identified. That's the title of that website.
Okay, and when was that searched for?
11/20/2016 at 5:34 p.m. and 4:06 p.m. And then there was a visit to YouTube. The link is there, but it doesn't specifically say what it is. That was on 11/12/2016 at 8:46 a.m. But at the same time, at 8:46 a.m., there's more YouTube links for Glock disassembly and how to field strip a Glock.
Okay, and those are on November 12th of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
And then there's numerous searches on that same date without a title. Can you?
Yes. So without the title, you would have to go to the URL searched, and so you can see it over here. He went to google.com, and everything after this question mark and Q is what was searched, and so it's how do you take apart a Glock. So there was a search for how do you take apart a Glock on 11/12/2016 at 8:41 a.m. And then there were multiple searches for those. And then on 9/15/2016, it again references the hotels, Holiday Inn in Round Rock.
Okay.
This is Round Rock Hotel search. 9:15 at 11:47. The Round Rock Sports Center. A Yelp visit at yelp.com for the Round Rock Sports Center. Another Google search, Round Rock Sports Center. This was on 9/15 at 11:39 a.m. This one is Round Rock Sports Center Gun Show. 9/15/2016, 11:26 a.m. And then 9/6/2016 for the Rent-A-Tire. So Google search for Rent-A-Tire. Then the address, 813 Bandera Road.
And is there any other searches that you found that you tagged? That we haven't talked about from the court?
Videos. I tagged 4 videos. These.
So the first one, please.
It's a video playback of just a picture of a gun, a Glock, on a table.
Okay. And the second
And
one.
then another picture of a Glock. And then this is a video of a holster. It's in the pants, and so it just shows him pulling the gun out of the pants, out of the holster.
And when you say him, you're referring to the individual
Yes,
in the video?
in the video, yes.
Okay. And
Yeah, it's a
the
demonstration.
The fourth picture?
It's another video of a Glock.
And all 4 of these videos, they don't have metadata, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, is there also, and it may be on the full extraction report as opposed to the tag one, was there also a photograph of some deputies or police officers out of state that had been shot prior to Detective Marconi's death?
There was a photo, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where is that?
That would be in the images. It's just it's not tagged.
What do we need to go to the full extraction report to see it?
Yes.
Is there anything else on this one before we leave the?
Just user accounts that I tagged, as well as far as identifying information. Some multiple entries were the owner. It has the email address, Otis McKane 001. Name for a Google Plus as Otis McKane. Again, the email address for Google, saying the name is Otis McKane. And then source, which is Google Hangouts, which is an app. Otis McKane is the person for that. And then again, name Otis McKane 001 at gmail.com with the username for Google Client ID. And then Otis McKane for Uber.
For Uber?
Yes.
Okay, and if you look at the initial, I say the first 7 entries on this, and the email, it's ODISMCKANE001 at gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay. And the last one, for the Uber, can you tell us about that? It's spelled OTIS McKane, MCKANE. And when was that one created?
It doesn't say.
Okay, and is there a telephone number? The source is Uber. Is there a telephone number associated with that one?
Yes. 210-980-5417.
Okay, and is that the same number associated with this telephone
Yes.
that you just described? Okay, and just to make it clear, the last user activity recorded, whether it be a text, a search, a call, was on November 21st, 2016. And do you recall approximately what time that was?
Of just the tagged images, we have 11, or just the tagged stuff in this report, we have 11/21/2016 at 2:55 p.m.
And what was that, sir?
There was an incoming call. There was an outgoing call, looks to be about 3 minutes earlier, 2:51.
Okay, so an outgoing call from this phone.
Yes.
And there are some images that were not tagged but are in the full extraction report that pertain to, it appears to be conversations about selling drugs, is that correct?
Yes, text messages.
Text messages. And are those messages that you viewed as well and that are contained in the full extraction report?
Yes, ma'am.
And those messages, there are some that have is it an X or something by them or some notation?
Yes, so in this column right here, there's an X. If you see a red X within this column, it says that that information was deleted but recovered. So anything that has this red number right here, so this isn't deleted email that was recovered during the extraction process. So there's a red X there saying that it has been deleted. So if you were to open the phone up right now and look at it, you would not see this email, but it was recovered using the software we have.
And finally, everything that was contained within the phone recovered from Otis McKane, when the phone went through the extraction process with Detective Stoll, and then when you took that information and created this Cellbrite report, is there anything that has been added to his phone, deleted, changed, or does the phone, this information reflect the full extraction report, States Exhibit 374, does that reflect all the information that was contained on Otis McKane's phone, at the time the extraction report was run?
Yes, ma'am. Nothing was added, modified, deleted, changed. What we see in this report is exactly what came from the phone. And when it came from Detective Stoll, it comes in a binary file that doesn't look legible to us. It's nothing we can see, change, or modify. And then loaded in, like I explained yesterday, I did a hash of the file that Detective Stoll gave me, and that matched the hash value that came out of his extraction.
And are the serial numbers exactly the same on both the extraction and on your report?
Yes.
Okay. And on your report, would it be on the full report or would it be on the tag report, where you take a picture of the phone and also take a picture of the serial number and the numbers associated?
It's in the full report.
Okay. And do those numbers match?
Yes.
I'll pass them.
briefly, Detective Knox, what kind of program does someone need to open this extraction up? I mean, if you were to send it to me, what would I have to have on my computer to open it up?
My report or the extraction that came from Detective Stoll?
The extraction itself.
You would need the software that came with the company, that the company provides with the device that extracts it.
I guess what I'm asking, like, for example, the DA's office here, I believe you're doing it up there on your computer, correct? Or are they?
I have a wireless mouse that's linked to that computer.
Okay. But what program do they have on their computer to open it up, just out of curiosity?
It's a program called Celebrite Reader. So what we have in our office is a program called Physical Analyzer. So that's what I use to open the extraction. Once I open that extraction, when I find the things I need to tag, I will create a report. And I can create that report in a multitude of ways. I can make it an HTML file, a PDF file, and Celebrite also provides a thing called Celebrite Reader. So it takes my report and puts it in a form that is much easier to navigate than a PDF. I've also included the PDF version that I've submitted. Anybody can open Celebrite Reader. It's a free program. It doesn't require a license, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
Whereas Physical Analyzer does require a license.
Okay.
He said he selected what computer.
And then, with regards to the prosecutor is using the word tag.
Correct.
You went, nowadays cell phones, they have, I don't know how much content, whatever a particular person is doing with it. And then when you say you tag certain things, that's a discretionary decision on your part.
Yes.
So let's say there's a picture of a baby, let's just say that. It's going to be in the full extraction, but you just didn't tag it.
Correct.
If there's a text saying, I'm going to go help an old lady change her tire, let's just say. It could be there, you just didn't extract it.
Correct.
I mean, tag it.
Tag it. Yes, I didn't tag it.
Okay. Now, with regards to the actual extraction of this particular phone that we're talking about, you did not perform that, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. And you were not present when Detective Stoll extracted it?
No, sir.
Okay. And from the time that Detective Stoll extracted it, when did he do that? That did you supposedly can tell?
The extraction was done on 2/25/2020, 2:39 p.m.
And when did you perform your analysis or your tagging?
I believe it was July 7th. Yes, July 7th.
Do we see it there? I mean, I'm trying to see.
No, this doesn't have it. It would show on the file itself, the Celebrate Reader, when you actually look at it.
So the extraction was performed on 2/25/20?
The extraction from Detective Stoll, yes, was 2/25/20.
Okay, and then you said you did your tagging, I'm going to use that phrase loosely, in July of 2020?
Correct.
Okay.
No, I'm
No.
gonna correct the record. July of 2021.
Oh yeah, 2021. Sorry.
Okay. Pass the witness.
I just have a few quick questions. defense counsel was asking about when Detective Stoll extracted the phone, and you gave us the date of 2/25/20.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, are you aware of whether or not Detective Stoll, after he extracted this phone, if he did or placed the contents into the program Cellbrite Reader?
Yes, he did make a report.
Okay. And why were you asked then, in July of this year, to also take the same information Detective Stoll extracted and place it into a Cellbrite Reader?
Back in February 2020, I believe we were going to go to trial, and COVID happened, and so everything got delayed. So when the trial was reset, Detective Stoll was going to be out of town, and he was going to be unavailable. So I was asked to take his extraction, create my own report, find my own tags, and provide it to court.
And the report that you testified to, the Cellbrite report, everything that's contained on that phone that we've talked about, the cell number, is contained in the State's Exhibit 374, the full extraction report that Detective Stoll made.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so if there is something about helping a lady, I don't know, if you said cross the street or doing something with the baby.
Change a tire.
What, change what?
Change a tire.
Change the tire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If there was something like that, it would be contained in the full extraction report that is for, the jury would have an opportunity to see that if the court lets it in. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. They will be able to see the full contents of the phone.
And so and Detective Stoll was going to be out of state for several weeks, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so we had you come and take the same contents and create, or just run it through the Cellbrite system.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the word.
Now, you said that the full extraction was in PDF format also?
The full extraction, I did not do a full extraction of a PDF form. I did just the reader, I believe. I'd have to double check.
And you provided that to the state?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry. Apologize.
I'm just trying to figure out the difference between the full extraction that Detective Stoll did and then this program, I'll call it a program that you created. How do you go about that? You pick and choose and can you explain that to me, please?
Yes, sir. So Detective Stoll, well, he hooks the phone up to a machine and provides all the profile information for the phone. He does an extraction. It comes out. In this case, it was a physical, so it was a single file, a binary file that is not readable by us or anything else. I took that single file from him and verified that everything was the same and nothing was changed. Then I put it into Physical Analyzer. Physical Analyzer processed that single file. It showed everything that was in the phone, because it just goes through all the data in there and parses it and gives all the text messages, images, everything else inside of it. Then from that, I went through the entire phone and tagged images and tagged text messages and things that I believe are relevant to this case. And then I created a Cellbrite Reader report, which is this version, which is easy to read. And then I also created a PDF report for the tagged version.
Okay, but you said that Detective Stoll back in March of 2020, February of 2020, did the extraction.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then you said, then you got it in July of 2021.
Yes, sir.
And then you put it into this, what's it called? Physical Analyzer.
Yes, sir.
And what it does then to the naked eye, you can see images, you can read, you can do whatever it is that you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the initial version by Detective Stoll, you said right now, I made sure that there were no changes or whatever. how did you go about that?
Okay, so there's a way you can do that. It's called hashing. So in this case, it was SHA 256 hash. So that original document that was presented yesterday, that comes from Detective Stoll's machine when he makes that extraction. It takes that single file that we talked about and uses a mathematical algorithm against that file and comes out with a number. And it says this file matches this number. So when I got that file, I took that same file and I put it into my hashing program and I ran the program again, and that hashing program gave me a number. So I compared the original number that was outputted by Detective Stoll's machine to the number that I hashed, and they were exactly the same. So that lets me know that the file that I received from Detective Stoll is the exact file that came out of his machine.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, so back when Detective Stoll in February of 2020, forgive me, you said he did the extraction, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's this extraction, and it's there, it's sitting there. In July of 2021, you come in and, what is it called? You run the physical analyzer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that you did the physical analyzer, the naked eye can see all this. You can read this, right?
Yes, sir.
But before you did the physical analyzer, you couldn't do that.
No, sir.
Okay. What day in July of 2021 did you do this?
I believe it was July 7th. I'm going to have to look on the screen and it will tell me.
Okay. I passed the witness, Your Honor.
And on July 7, 2021, when you took the extracted data, the data that was extracted from the phone that Detective Stoll had done February of 2020, was Detective Stoll present when you were there and conducting the physical analyzer from the extracted data?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, he wasn't there. No. Okay. And so how did you know that you were using his extracted data? Is that based on the hashtags and that comparison?
Yes, ma'am. It's based on a hash that came with that was extracted, that came out of the machine when he did the extraction.
Okay, and then you compared the serial numbers, the telephone numbers, and then the
Yes.
hashtag values or hashtags?
It's just called a hash.
Oh, it's just
Yes.
called hash?
Okay.
The hash. That's good. Oh, I have one more question, sorry.
Sure.
So we're loading just for the court's viewing, there's some stuff on the full extraction report that we wanted the court to see that wasn't tagged. There are, and so the judge, if you want to review these, there's multiple texts that we'd like to get into, not through this witness, through another witness about drug dealing. And also there's a picture of the deputies that were killed a week or so before Detective Marconi was killed that we wanted you to see.
Okay.
That image was downloaded onto, or the image is on, I'm sorry, let me say it right. The image is shown on the full extraction report.
Is that ready now, or?
It's loading, Judge.
Right.
So we pop that in the folder.
Okay, well, since it's loading, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
No, I was just telling you.
you
go
were
first. No.
So
Versus Otis McKane. Present in the room are attorneys for both sides as well as the defendant. We are still in our hearing. The jury is still outside the presence, outside the courtroom. So state, you can continue.
So Detective Knox, we have now pulled up the full extraction report.
Can it,
Yeah, please. Judge, is it okay if he sits down? I mean, obviously there's
Yes.
there's images on the phone that we are trying not to display in public because of the sensitive nature, the offensive nature of the picture. So we're trying to
Yes.
be cognizant of that.
Right. The sensitive nature and stuff that is not, well, stuff that's irrelevant as it relates to punishment. Yes.
So can we turn off the monitors for a second? Or can we do this? I don't know if you do.
You want to turn off the monitors?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, just for a second, so we can pull it up.
Can y'all do that?
Can I do this now?
They're gonna turn it off.
I can walk this one again. Just, can you turn off the top one? We have to drag it back to this one, unfortunately. That's why I was saying we need to leave it on. Can they turn it down?
I mean, I switched it, so, you want me to turn the whole thing off?
No, I think we have it. It'll still, it's probably over there.
Can you put the monitors back on, at least these?
Yours?
Yes,
Yeah,
only ours.
this monitor?
I mean, then it's gonna publish whatever you're.
Okay.
But can you not publish it on the top one?
No matter what. I mean, it's gonna turn on. I'll have to turn the whole system off.
Well, if we turn it off, then we can't.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn it off manually.
Or maybe the television people can block it while we pull something out.
That's the answer.
Right. So Judge, we're in a position now where we need to have the monitors on in order to move, in order to
To
get
drag
into
it
some
back over.
information, to drag it over, but
oh,
we
I
don't.
got it. Okay. So, I know we could I don't see why. Should I just tag it?
Yeah, tag it.
Oh, you want?
Yeah, pick it. For the purposes of this hearing, we tagged it so that we don't have to, so it won't show other material.
Okay.
Can we put all the screens back on then?
I switch it back to you?
Please.
Yes, thank you.
No, but that's the stuff that looks May I proceed, John?
Yes.
Thank you. Detective Knox, so looking at this image that's to the right of your screen, can you tell us about this particular image? That was this image found on obviously the same phone that we are referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
And so on the full extraction report, States Exhibit, I believe 375.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell us the image? You said it was found on the phone, and what is this image of?
It's a photo of the sheriff from California that was, our deputy from California that was murdered.
Okay. And did you look into this to find out some information on it?
Just that he had been killed a few days prior.
Okay. And when was this image either created, accessed, modified? And what does that mean, modified?
Just if it was changed in any way.
Okay, but it has the same information for all three, right?
Right.
And so what is that date?
So the date is listed as 11/13/2016 at 4:58 p.m.
And can you scroll down, please? And then you tagged it at the bottom now, is that right?
Correct.
Then there's also looking, now do we have up the tag, just the tag report, or do we have the full extraction report?
Just the tag report is right here.
So going to the full extraction report, which is behind this.
Okay. This is the full extraction report.
Okay. Can you show the court examples of the text messages involving the owner of the phone, Otis McKane, and other individuals that pertain to the selling and purchasing of narcotics?
So there's a lot of text messages. So most of these that I found that were deleted dealt with drug issue stuff.
And so, for example, just to give the court a preview of some of these text messages, one of them says, "Can you come by? I hook you up." Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Yes. So again, the green text are sent from the phone, and the blue text are received into the phone.
Okay. Okay, and then another one. I'm in town. Oh, we just scrolled.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'm in town and I need an edge up and I got some Blue Drink Plus. Right? And that's what it says, right?
Yes.
From the owner of the phone. From the
Yes.
defendant. Okay. And then they kind of go back and forth with multiple text messages. Is that right?
Yes. And then there's multiple from different accounts.
So one of them from an individual says, on 9/24/16, make it a 40, hook me up. And then the same individual says, I'm right around the corner on the same date, 9/24/16.
Yes, ma'am.
And here's another one on 9/24/16 from a number that says, what you doing? And then the response from this phone is, got some good bud compass, middle light green 4.4. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And from your experience as a police officer, does that appear to be referring to the sale or purchase of narcotics?
Yes.
And there's multiple text messages pertaining to that, is that correct?
Yes.
And Judge, for the record, we've printed all of those, the text messages pertaining to drugs that the court can review individually, so we don't have to go through each one in front of the jury. And we don't have to go through each one with this witness in front of the jury, and we have an expert to testify about them.
Okay.
We'll pass the lines.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Anything else as it relates to the motion?
Yeah, I guess you're asking us.
I'm asking each of you.
Well, for starters, Judge, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the first time we've seen any of this.
Okay. Will you-
So we're saying it's a little late on giving us the discovery by the state. Now,
was it provided to you
Though
all?
this extraction stuff back in February, we couldn't open it. There was no program that would open it. And we assumed since the state didn't give us anything more, they couldn't open it either. And I tell you what, they couldn't open it back then either. And I think Danny can explain this a whole lot better than I can of his attempts to try to open this and find out what was on it. And we couldn't do it. And the state wasn't able to do it until after July 7th themselves. And that's right before trial. And now they dump it on us and say, okay, here it is, get ready. Well, we don't have time, Judge. We're saying their discovery is too late for us to get ready. And it should be excluded simply because they violated discovery. And Danny can tell you what, go tell the judge what you have to go through.
Well, Your Honor, I've cataloged all the discovery in this case. I attempted to open it using the Cellbrite program. I was trying to drag in, I think it's called a DRF file, and it wouldn't open. I usually use a Mac computer, an Apple computer. So when it's not uncommon that programs don't open in Mac or Apple computers. So I use a Windows computer at my office, same exact problem. I've tried a Windows computer at my house, same exact problem. I tried another Macintosh computer, like a desktop, same problem, where the file won't open inside the reader. And so when I try to open the file and then use the reader to both ways I tried doing it, and it just won't open.
May I respond? So there are different things for the court to consider. First of all, the defendant's phone was first downloaded by the first search warrant. I think the first search warrant has November 23rd of 2016, and it was downloaded by Detective Garibay, and a Cellbrite report was created. And so that was tendered to the defense in the original filings before, several years ago. Now, then Detective Garibay retired, so we did a second search warrant of the phone, and that's the one Detective Duke did in February of 2020, where Detective Stoll did the extraction. And then using that extraction, Detective Stoll then created a Cellbrite report. That report was the report that we got, obviously is on a disk. It's a computer-generated report like you've seen. And we tendered that to the defense, which is signed by Raymond Fuchs, for Cellbrite report CF6134. And it says March 2nd of 2020. We also, when we were meeting with the detective, Detective Stoll, he said, you know what, the defense may want the raw data that we use in the extraction. And so we asked Mr. De La Garza to provide us with a hard drive. And so in the abundance of caution, we gave him all the raw data in case they wanted to hire an expert to then take that raw data. We don't have the state nor the defense, I assume that's what they're saying. But the raw data is usually not provided to us, but we ask for it so that we could give it to them. And if they want to hire an expert, the first thing the expert would say is, can I have the raw data so I can run my report using the extracted data from the phone? So we provided that to the defense, and Mr. De La Garza signed for it June 24th of 2020, the raw data. But keep in mind, they've already had all this information from several years ago, from the original dump from Detective Garibay. Now they have it in March of 2020. And then when Detective Stoll was leaving, going out of town going out of state for multiple weeks and wouldn't be available to testify as to his report, we asked Detective Knox to take that same data, the same raw data, and run a Cellbrite report, which he did July 7th of 2021. And we provided that to the defense. And so we provided that to the defense. I think we contacted them about it. It was July 7th, I believe, is a Thursday or so. So we provided that to them the first morning of trial, July 12th, 2021. But that is the same information, the same report that Detective Stoll, and we could ask, this witness has testified and we can ask him again under oath, Detective Knox, that is the same, what's contained in his report is the same information that's contained in Detective Stoll's report. And in fact, he could even testify. If the court wants to say, you know what, we won't use his report, even though it's from the same information, Detective Knox can testify as to Detective Garibay's report and or Detective Stoll's report as an expert. All of that has been provided to the defense, and we are hearing about it for the first time during this trial, that they have not been able to open it. I feel like they've had it for years, and at least one of them for over a year and 15, 16 months, and we're just hearing about it now, Judge. Right. And additionally, if the court looks at the 404B that we provided to the defense and filed with the court, there are numerous allegations, or 404B allegations, that reference the defendant's cell phone. For example, it talks about the various images of Detective Marconi, the images of the Glock. I think it also references drug dealing as well. So all that's also provided to the defense in the 404B that's been on file, for a significant period.
All right, so just so I can understand. So you're saying that you got a report that you could see everything in March of 2020, and then you provided that at that time to the defense, which included all the raw data.
Well, it doesn't include the raw data. The raw data it's just the report. The report's extracted from the raw data. The raw data is, and maybe Detective Knox can explain the raw data, but we provided that to the defense in abundance of caution if they want to then hire an expert who would then ask for the raw data. You can't read the raw data unless you have to take the raw data and place it into a program, whether it be Cellbrite, whether it be Axiom, whatever the program is. But in case they wanted to hire an expert, we gave them the raw data so they could have that should they want to hire an expert.
And the raw data was provided March of 2020 to the defense?
No. The raw data was provided June 24th of 2021.
Okay, so the raw data was provided last month.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, I think the biggest difference here is that, for example, for Detective Marconi's phone, we have a PDF Cellbrite report that we can scroll through and look at text messages. You can click on, look at images. You can look at a call log. You can click on different files, and this is all from the hard drive, right, or from the e-discovery. You can click on different files like AT&T messages, and you can see different messages inside the computer. It's not a program that you need to put in another file and open. So I think the difference here is that when the prosecution is talking about Cellbrite reports, what I think is a PDF report that I click on and it opens. But what I think they're actually talking about is raw data or something that's not clickable where you open and see the data after that. But yeah, Your Honor, so the raw data is exactly like Mr. Fook said. We couldn't open it, the state couldn't open it, and I think Detective Knox even had to come down here and
May I respond, Judge? Like what we're looking at on the screen is exactly, this is what is considered a Cellbrite report. This report has been provided to them with on the disk that includes the ability to read it, has the program to read it. So it should appear to them exactly like this. The raw data is a completely separate thing. And these reports have been provided under Detective Stoll's extraction, and then again, under Detective Knox's extraction. Or not extraction, his Cellbrite report, as well as Detective Garibay back in 2016.
And Your Honor, and the report that Ms. Schultz is talking about is exactly the report that we're not able to open. There's a PDF report, and I've downloaded the program. I put it into the different computers I told you about. I've tried every which way, every single way humanly possible to do it, and I have not been able to open it.
Your Honor, if I may, this is amazing that they come into court today and say, we couldn't open this up, so we figured you were having the same problem. And they didn't, the reason we gave them the raw data is because nobody can read the raw data except somebody like, Justin Knox, who can put it into a readable format. We gave it to him because we're dealing with other big cases wherein the defense in those cases said, we have experts, and Detective Knox can tell you he regularly deals with defense experts on this because some defense experts will use programs other than Cellbrite. There are other programs out there, so they may want to run their own. But we gave it to him out of an abundance of caution, saying, hey, if you've got an expert, here's the stuff. They can run it. So for them to come in now and say, well, we just couldn't open it up and we figured everybody was having the same issue, I mean, it's amazing.
It's
But
almost
let me tell you what, Judge. They gave it to us on June 24th. We'd already designated every expert we had. They knew we didn't have such an expert.
Of 2021?
24th of June of this year was when they supplied the raw data. Less than a month, about a month ago now. But what would that be? About 3 weeks before trial started. They supply the raw data on a disk, and Danny can't open it. Okay. And at the time we're getting it, I don't know what the conversation was because it was given to him about exactly what it was they were giving him. But the point is, they had the experts that could have done all this and could have provided what they're trying to provide to the jury, to us, on the, months ago, years ago, but they just didn't do it.
That's a
They've just not
misstatement.
gotten this done. He
That's
said
a
it was
mistake.
July 7th, he did this.
That's a misstatement. I think there's some confusion
Which is the
here.
one that's a mistake, and I'd like that to be pointed out.
Well, that's what I intend to do.
Also,
All right, so the court reporter can only get one voice at a time, so we'll make sure that one side finishes their argument before the other starts.
So the information from the raw data that was provided in June 24th of 2021, okay, that information from the raw data had been provided to the defense several years before, when Detective Garibay extracted the cell phone and created the Cellbrite report. There's nothing additional from the extraction that is not contained in these reports, Your Honor. That's my understanding.
And the raw data.
From the raw data, right? And so the raw data, so then the raw data that Detective Stoll, extracted the phone and used, so Detective Stoll did a second extraction based on the search warrant in February of 2020. And that raw data was then placed in a Cellbrite report, so you can read it. You can't read the raw data. It's computer, and Justin Knox would probably be better, Detective Knox would be better able to tell the court what raw data is, but no one is able to read raw data until it's placed in a computer program and it's run. So all the contents from the raw data, the second search warrant that we're here on was provided, it was run, I believe, February 25th of 2020, and we provided it to the defense that Mr. Fuchs signed on March 2nd of 2020. So they have had it for 16 months.
And,
Your Honor, in unusable form.
Your Honor, what they could do, what we could easily, what they should have done in the first place, what everybody else does, is they ask the court, because their client is indigent, to hire an expert. The court could give them a continuance to have their own expert run this, so we could get the same result and be back here in a couple of days doing the same thing. But I think that would remedy what they're complaining about. They've been given notice of all of these offenses as extraneous offenses that we intended to go into.
And how long does it take to run this report, the extraction?
Once you get the extraction, it takes 30 minutes to an hour to come to this form.
Right. So so the extraction, if they provided that to an expert, the expert could take 30 minutes to an hour to run their own report. Is that correct?
So it doesn't sound like there's anything that's Brady in the raw data, right?
Okay.
Well, all the raw data is contained on the cell phone, State's Exhibit 375. And it just seems that what we're seeing is, it's as if they're asking you to exclude this evidence because they couldn't open it, and they've had it since, at least on the second search warrant, the extraction we're referring to in court that Detective Stoll testified, they've had it since March 2nd of 2020, and we are just now hearing about this in this trial that they couldn't open it. So they're asking you to keep it out. Don't let the jury see it because they couldn't open it, and they have never asked us in 16 months or told us we can't open the disc that you gave us. I mean, they've never come to us in any of the times we've had multiple hearings, we saw them daily for jury selection, and not once was that brought up to us saying, hey, we can't open the disc of this phone. And so we're hearing about it for the first time.
So it was actually provided in a usable form March 2020 to the defense.
March 2nd of 2020, and here's the discovery form that is part of the court's record.
He asked you to use it in a form that we could open up.
That's not what
That's what he's asking.
Well, we provided
usable
to them
form.
in a usable form, yes.
No, it was of no use. We couldn't open it.
It's the
And
same
what I'm
thing.
saying is just what they're doing today, what they're presenting today, is the first time they've shown this. They could have given this to us a long time ago.
We have, Your Honor.
No,
We
they
gave
want
it
us to
to
go out
them.
and hire experts when they could have done this a long time ago and didn't. And now they say, and we still haven't gotten this, by the way, Judge, in this form. We've still not been provided this information in this form, other than getting us to look at it on a screen. We've not ever had it to where we can sit down and go through the whole thing and look at everything. We still haven't gotten it.
Well, Your Honor, too, you would think that in a case of this magnitude, they would not just solely rely on the state's expert, that they would want to get their own expert to check the work of the state's expert.
There was nothing to check.
But they've had it since, but we have
And so has the state, and they could have done this years ago.
since March 2nd of 2020. And we're first hearing about it today in court, that they're now telling us they can't open it?
Okay. So defense, are you asking for time to have these documents to review, or what are you asking for?
Can we have just a second, Your Honor?
Yes.
We've got to go, we've got to get that form, we can sit down and look at it. I've never seen it, we don't know if there's anything that's a Brady in there, we don't know if there's anything that they're going to surprise us with.
We ask for a continuance.
Right, you want your own expert appointed to check these extractions and go through the process?
Well, I think once we can, I'm going to imagine so, Your Honor, we will ask for a continuance and then figure it out.
How much time?
I don't know, Your Honor. I mean, I guess we can file a motion ex parte, and then once we see the full extraction, I don't know how much time it'll take for us to review it and to search for mitigation or grading material. So I really can't answer that question right now, Your Honor.
Why don't you ask this particular expert here, or this individual, how long that takes?
Okay, well, Detective Knox, first of all, just to make it clear, everything we're seeing here, it could have been produced or it could have been provided in PDF format.
Yes, so my general process of what I do when I generate a report. So I'll get the cell phone, I will extract the cell phone, I'll generate the report. I keep the raw data. I usually don't ever give that out. That stays within our vault at our office. If a defense expert comes to me and says, I need to process your phone for my client, then I will provide them with the raw data. Depending on the type of case, he'll sit in my office and not allowed to leave with it. But normally what I provide to the detective that requests phone download is I provide the Cellbrite Reader report, which is what we're seeing here today, in a PDF form. Sometimes it becomes a space issue because they're the exact same size. So things are getting so massive these days, they don't even fit on CDs anymore. So we're now teaching all our detectives this Cellbrite Reader class. We're providing them solely just the Cellbrite Reader and nothing else because it's an easier form to view, it's easier to go through and navigate versus the PDF form. I do have the PDF form, just the tagged report if we want to open that up and look at that. But normally what I give to the detective that ends up going to the DA is just the report. The raw data stays with me. It almost is never given out.
Well, by way of example, Officer Marconi's cell phone was provided in PDF format, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And back in March of 2020, was the PDF format available on this one?
I would have to double check, but I believe that Detective Stoll did it on an HTML report through Axiom.
Okay.
But I would have to check and just to double check because it's been a while since I've looked at it.
And so let's just say that a full extraction is done, like you've done now. And I guess the court is asking, how long, how many pages, how big, how many gigabytes is the full extraction?
I would have to look at the file and how big it was. I don't have it in front of me. I believe it was a couple of gigs of data, but when I processed the report, I did it in half a day. Yeah.
But you were only looking for I mean, did you get a direction of what to look for, or
Just-
you just decided on your own?
Just anything, I mean, I know the case. Sometimes in our intake form, the detectives will, if there's a very specific thing they're looking for, they'll list it on the form. But doing this enough times, if it's, this type of case or capital murder, I know really what to look for. And if it was a capital murder using a deadly weapon, then I'm going to tag every gun I see.
Sure.
Things like that. So just from my intake form of what is requested. Sometimes it's very specific, sometimes it's broad. Every case is unique.
But in your role as an officer, as a peace officer, you weren't looking for Brady material or mitigating material, were you?
No.
Okay. Nothing further.
But the entire download of the phone is in State's Exhibit 374. Is
Right.
that correct? The full extraction.
The full extraction. Everything on the phone is there. Everything.
That's the one.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Y'all approach. get Liz and Erica up
Let
here.
me grab. So I'm gonna grab the zip.
Are we doing this right? Can you just
Yeah, that's right. That's on.
okay.
And then we need something besides a map.
Erica, Erica here. Liz, you want to come up for a second? You wanna come up? No, no, no.